Morning. Morning, everybody. How's everyone doing? Sorry I'm late, but I'm here. Better late than never, right? Better late than never. Boop-a-doop. Hi. I almost put this in the wrong thing. I almost put it in the milk frother instead of in the coffee cup. That would have been all kinds of, I don't know, all kinds of something. It would have been all kinds of something. I'm trying to cut sugar out of my diet. It's so hard. It can be hard, but if you need, I do wish you luck. If you need any, tips or whatever, feel free to ask. I've done it a long time. It's been many, many years now that I haven't had it. So if you want, stuff to keep you on track, snacks or whatever like that, just let me know. Morning, Abby. We have 2 Abbies, we have 2 Addies, we've got so much going on. What made you decide to cut out sugar specifically? Any snack ideas for my kids would be really appreciative. I can give, you can email me. Don't say your email address on here because TikTok doesn't like that kind of stuff and they'll probably block it. But you can always email me. But I post a lot. If you search my username and sugar-free, you'll see a lot of the stuff that I recommend because people ask all the time. But also, if you ever want to just email me, you can, or you can comment on my recent and ask for what I'm eating right now, and I can tell you some of my favorite snacks. I have some stuff here. Kids would probably like these. These are sugar-free and they taste like they're not. They're really, really delicious. Blueberry molasses, vanilla extract, cashews, so these are really good from Keto Farms. They make a lot of good stuff. Decided to join book club today. Hey, Juliana, how you doing, girl? Arlone, Gen Z with this. I also really love these. These are sugar-free, and Zoe thinks they're like Jell-O packets, but they're really healthy. Also, Magic Spoon cereal is really good too because Magic Spoon mimics popular cereals even though they're sugar-free. So I have a Magic cereal Loops that looks like Fruit Loops, tastes like Fruit Loops, but it's sugar-free. Zoe loves that too. You read her mind? Aw, that's so cute. I'm glad that you guys are buddies now. I'm not really hungry yet because I just got up, but I'm looking at these croissants and man, they look good. Oh well, whatever. I'll get one after book club. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. Put my coffee down. We're starting a new book today. Brand new book. We finished the other one yesterday, which, morning. I think I have you. Yeah, it does. Food does sound pretty good, but I'm just my stomach hasn't started growling yet, so I don't think it wants anything yet. Look how much thicker book 2 is than book 1 was, you guys. John's book 1 was half this size, so we might finish this right when he gets back into town, which, I guess is good because he's going to come chat with us. Is Renee here? I don't know if Renee's on, but I had a question for her. I can ask her privately, obviously, if she's not here, but she was here, I was going to ask her. I placed orders at Walmart and Target already this morning. Look at you, productive. Hey, morning. All right. Nectar of the gods. What's everyone else drinking this morning? I forgot to ask. I got out of bed. Look at us go. Hey, Shira. What's up? Coffee, always coffee. Yeah, Monster, gotta stay awake. Girl, it's so early for Monster. You're Gen Z. Don't rot your insides so early in your life. Keep those insides good, Juliana. I'm sure that's what Deborah will think productive. I mean, do you need me to have... No, you know what? I was about to say I'll have a talk with her, and then I realized that that's probably not my best. I should not be offering to do that to people because I'm already diabetic. I'm too far gone. No, you can fix it. You can fix it. Come on, you got this, girl. I'm with you. I'm here for you. I have the hiccups. In case you're wondering why I keep moving like a weirdo, it's because I have the hiccups. So that's what's up. Hey, can you make some fluffy cloud dough on your next video? You know what? Fluffy cloud dough is not really... Can you explain what you mean by fluffy cloud dough? What do you mean by that? If it wasn't stuff we need, I have to wake up at 6 a.m. for work and coffee just doesn't agree with me. Oh, that's fair. That's totally fair. I get that. Did you know that you can check whether or not your body will like coffee with like those like 23andMe tests? My mom did a 23andMe test recently because she's obsessed with that kind of stuff. She's done Ancestry, she's done all of them, whatever. And her 23andMe test said that she carries the genetic marker for being more inclined to drink more coffee than average. And I was like, yeah, I could have told you that. Here I am. You produced a child that drinks more coffee than average. Renee, you are here. Renee, can you make custom bookmarks like this? Is that possible? If you had the image from Shira's sticker, could you make slimy bookmarks? I mean, obviously I just offered up something Shira made and I shouldn't do that. But like if I paid for Shira to give you the sticker image about book club, could you make us bookmarks if I got them? Like, obviously I would pay for it, Shira. I wouldn't make you give your art up for free. But like, you know what I mean? Wouldn't that be cool for us all to have matching bookmarks? It's just a thought. Let me just think about it. I don't know. Maybe I want to give some away. I don't know. Let me think on it. Anyway, I like it. It's cute. All right. So if anyone is unaware, today we are starting this massive, massive novel. It's John's second book called Wasteland. Have you talked to Jenna? Is she okay after that mess last night? I did not bother her last night because sometimes people who are neurospicy, when they're going through something like that, they need to decompress. And based on her videos, she really looked like she needed to decompress. That being said, I'm sure that we will talk today now that it is all over. I'm sure she's okay. The last video said she was going. No, she posted a video after that, Becca. She posted a video after the one saying she was going where she was returning. So she made it back okay. Yeah. She did end up going. She was a little late, but she did go. And that's good. As she should have. All right, so let's get to reading. Let's see how many pages this book is. No, you're stressed. No stress. This is 440 pages, and it's a big book. This was also 440 pages, but, you know, so that's interesting. I thought I missed this morning. Glad I didn't. No, I woke up late. I woke up late. That's all there is to it. And I have no excuse. I wasn't even up that late. I have no reason for having woken up late. Okay. Are we ready? Are we ready? Let's go. This book is dedicated to my wife, daughters, and one extremely dedicated BFF. You all know who you are. Prologue. Jericho stepped over Klaus's body with ease, dropping a large handgun he'd used onto the dead man's chest. Looks like he won't be taking over the world today, he said, crouching beside where Chloe was sitting and leaning against the wall, holding the bleeding wound at her stomach. Blood seeped through her laced fingers freely, and her face was paling rapidly. He's locked the building down, Jericho, she said. Her whisper of a voice was heard barely above the blaring alarm. There's an air duct 2 floors down that will take you a... Stop, he said, sitting next to her, leaning against the wall, putting his arm around her shoulders. Not a chance, psycho chick, he told her. Have you not realized that you're never going to get rid of me? 1 minute to self-destruct sequence, the computer voice announced over the loud alarm. Chloe leaned her head against him, and he felt her raggedy breath. You're stupid, she said. Your face is stupid, he said. She chuckled weakly before saying, Sorry, you're about to die then, I guess. And then he felt her shudder, and her breathing stopped suddenly. 30 seconds to self-destruct sequence. I'm sorry too, Chloe, he said, kissing her forehead and standing. What kind of evil maniac doesn't rig his building to blow up if they happen to be on the loose? He asked the air before his earpiece crackled. Jericho, where are... Waiting. Piper's voice buzzed in his ear. Have to... Why? It's not me, Becca. He wrote this book a long time ago, before he knew I existed. Maybe I'll make it into the 4th one. We'll see. Maybe Alan and I will make it into the 4th one. I don't know. His heart sank. He wouldn't be coming back to her. Don't be a wimp, he said to himself. He'd known the risks beforehand, and he'd gone on the suicidal mission to save humanity. Anyway, I know you were kidding, sweetheart. But just in case Piper could hear him through the static, he said, I love you, Pipe. Don't let Beck push you around too much after this. Jericho, no, she shouted, obviously hearing every word. What happened? Where are you? I can't. Pulling out his earpiece, he tossed it into the many fires that were roaring in Klaus's rather large office. 10 seconds to self-destruct. I know, all right, he shouted at the ceiling. I went to kindergarten and I can actually count. The countdown didn't slow. 10, 9, 8. Not knowing what else to do, he sat in Klaus's office chair and put his feet on the evil man's desk, lacing his fingers behind his head. 6. Well, you saved the world, pal, he said to the air again. Are you happy now? 4, 3. He closed his eyes and sighed. After escaping death so many times in a short period as a time travel, the demise literally 2 seconds away seemed almost poetic. 1, 0, self-destruct, engaged. And then the floor beneath him shuddered, and fire was everywhere. Brutal prologue, man. Brutal prologue. Part 1, life. Oh, interesting. Interesting. All right. Okay, number 1. Number 1, it was severely bright when I tried to open my aching eyes. Number 2, I smelled hospital. Number 3, I remember what I was doing before everything went black, so I figured I was more than likely in the morgue instead of a hospital. I was on some sort of hospital bed type thing, though, unless future morgues put bodies on mattresses. I thought I was still in the future. Why is it so bright? I tried to say, but my throat somehow wouldn't work. Relatable content. I tried to say the same thing for about a minute or two, and after a lot of effort on my part, I finally was able to get out a sort of gurgling sound before saying, sushi, tacos. He's awake, I heard a female voice say from somewhere behind my head. I tried to turn and get a look at the owner, but I realized in horror, might I add, that my head seemed to be held in place by some kind of vice. Panicking, I tried to grab at the restraint and realized, yes, with more horror, that my wrists were also bound. Let me go, I managed, instantly out of breath from the sheer struggle of just 3 words, and I silently swore that if I got out of this alive, I would definitely go to the gym. The owner of the voice appeared at my bedside. She was maybe close to 30, I'm guessing, had jet black hair, and was slightly tanned. Name? I got out, trying to narrow my eyes at her. Rest, Mr. Johnson, she said, typing something into her hand. In a few seconds, my eyes closed and I was out. This happened more frequently over what I could only discern was a couple of weeks upon weeks. Me strapped to the bed, the no-name plain woman in a lab coat appearing after I talked to myself for a while, and then sedating me, and on and on. Good morning to Northern Maine. Nice to see you. It was pretty much the worst month of my life. At least, I hoped it was only a month. It really couldn't have been longer. It could have been longer, I guess, because there wasn't exactly a clock or a calendar on the only part of the wall that I could actually see. And then the day of reckoning finally arrived, and I said a complete sentence. What the hell, Helheim? Why am I here? And what are you planning to do with me? After that day, I was able to talk, shout, or scream. About 2 weeks post-sentence, I was taken aback when the lights shut off in the room. No, I didn't come back on last night. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. Finally, I said. I was wondering how long you idiots would make me sleep through miniature suns. I wasn't worried about ticking anybody off if you hadn't already deduced that on your own. I mean, sure, I was in fact strapped to a table and at their, whoever they are, complete mercy. But I figured that they wouldn't have been going through all the trouble of keeping me here, hooked up to a lot of machines, with a nurse checking on me every day just to get annoyed at my wit and slit my throat or something like that. And then one lone light appeared above me, and I closed my eyes. And it's back. Thank for the tease, guys. How are you feeling, Mr. Johnson? Said the only other person that I'd seen in months as she materialized beside my bed, her face shrouded due to the bright light above her head. Oh yeah, no worries. You didn't miss anything at all, sweetheart. Am I really wearing nothing but a cloth around my nether regions like it feels like I am? I asked her. Since it seemed like a harmless question, she answered, yes. Then, please call me Jericho, I said sarcastically. We're way past pleasantries. But I needed someone to talk to or I was going to lose it. I felt like I was trying to sneak up on a deer and the last bit of commotion would scare away my mystery nurse seemingly talkative mood. So are you like a mad scientist or something? No, she replied. I work for a scientist. Is he mad? No. Are you sure? Because the last time I checked, I was strapped to a bed. It's merely for your own protection, Mr. Johnson, as your new biomuscles are not fully compatible with your synthetic ones. Wait. What the hell, Heim? Back up, I said, rolling my eyes around mainly because that was the only thing that could actually move. I could have sworn that you just said that I had synthetic muscles inside me. You do. About 45% of your muscles were salvageable after the explosion, and even those weren't the easiest to save. So you, and whoever this mad scientist is that you work for, pulled me out of the rubble or something? Exactly, yes, she said, looking at the device in her hand before it vanished, the hologram puffing into slight mist. Why? I don't have clearance to tell you anything, Mr. Johnson, said the silhouette. Then why are you talking to me now? I've been here for 2 months, maybe. She was silent. Why talk now? I growled. You've been here longer than 2 months, Mr. Johnson, she said quietly. Okay, 2 months was undershooting a little. You've been here almost 3 years, she cut in, grasping softly as if she wasn't supposed to tell me that. My breathing became rapid, my vision blurred. What? I asked as calmly as I could, my voice quivering. It's December of 2344. You've been here since February of 2342. We've been... I didn't hear the rest. By then I was screaming. Sedate him! I heard a male voice crackle over the speaker in the room. Now! I felt severely hot and I began thrashing. I can't explain what was happening to me right then. Suffice to say that it wasn't pretty. The bulbs in the bright fixtures above me suddenly shattered, dropping pieces of glass and phosphorus all over my almost naked body. And that's when I felt it for the first time. A small tingling in my palms. And then everything went black again. Dun dun dun. Chapter 2. Let's see how many pages chapter. Oh, yeah, this is short. We can read chapter 2. Hold on, I feel like I'm going to sneeze. Give me a second. Hold on. Thank you, Juliana. Becca will only offer me 2. After 2, she doesn't give me any more. Hold on. I can feel it coming. It's right here. Is that it? Are we good with 3? All in favor of there only being 3 sneezes, say aye. Aye. Hey, Tiff. Haven't seen you in a minute. Okay. I think we're okay. I think it was just 3. Yeah, we're good. Okay. Excuse me. Chapter 2. I know I was so behind on the book. I was trying to catch up. Oh, well, everything's up now. That book, oh my gosh, Tiffany. That book was so stinking good. Yeah, you can start fresh on this one, but like that was just, I mean, the Land of Stories bowled me over. I was in tears by the end. I was literally sobbing as I was reading the last chapter. Sobbing. Oh my gosh. So good. I can't wait to read book 2. I really can't. So excited. Anyway. Let's read chapter 2 of this. Yes, we had a big feeling Sunday. All right, chapter 2. The next few days consisted of me waking up just long enough for Madame Truthbomb to sedate me again and slip me back into unconsciousness. Not sure why they wanted me to stay out, but I'm sure they had their diabolical reasons. When I finally woke one day and didn't get instantly zonked out, I noticed that the light bulbs that had somehow exploded had been replaced. Hours passed as I laid there, and I was suddenly overcome with the sheer injustice of it all. I died for you people, I shouted. I saved the world, and all of you idiot scientists know it. Silence. What do you want with me? I screamed. More silence. This was the worst. I didn't know where I was. That was what I think was bothering me more, is why I didn't know I was here in the first place. Was I still in Flagstaff? Had I been picked up by crazy future Nazis who were trying to break my mental willpower? After what seemed like forever, I slipped back into darkness. Actually, this was probably the first time that I'd fallen asleep on my own since I could remember. The darkness was welcoming, let me tell you. It felt kind of warm, almost like an old friend. And then I was standing in the room, completely unshackled. I gasped and took a few steps backwards, grabbing at my head and neck, which were now free from the vice, and then I glanced around the room. It looked pretty normal, really, for a future mad scientist lab, I mean. There were chairs, a small table, a computer-looking thing in one corner, and even a patient strapped to a bed. Wait. I walked over to the bed and peered down at the poor schmuck in bonds. He looked terrible. His skin was almost completely white from either being indoors for a long period of time or from the fact that his skin might have been synthetic. I wasn't sure which. The only thing that he wore was some type of white loincloth, so I got a look at all of his shimmering body parts. I leaned over to examine his right arm, and I saw that his forearm seemed to be open, exposing wires mixed with human veins. Ish, this dude was a mess. I glanced up at his face to give him a sympathetic grimace, and then I froze. This Frankenstein dude was me. I thought about screaming and running, but I decided that approach wouldn't help matters. I wasn't sure how I was standing there, in a loincloth of my own, looking down at my tied-up body, but God knows I wasn't about to waste the chance to get out of that hellhole. Without thinking about how or why, I instantly went to free my left wrist, except my hand went through the strap when I tried to grab at it, and I suddenly frowned at my hands, noticing that I could see through them slightly. I tried touching them together and watched my hands phase through one another. Okay, now felt like the right time to scream and run for it. The ghost version of Jericho was one step closer to freedom because, as was the case, Frankenstein Jericho was still strapped down, and Ghost Jericho couldn't do a dang thing about it. And then the eyes of Frankenstein Jericho shot open, and he screamed. I couldn't hear him at first, but after a few seconds, his primeval shriek reached my ears, and I had to cover them against the noise, except my hands phased through my head, and then I was lying on my back, strapped to the accursed bed, screaming. What had these people done to me? Wow. It's really freaking intense, man. Really intense. Becca, you okay? You're like joining, leaving. You all right there, girl? This next chapter is only 2 pages. I think we can read it. Chapter 3. 2 days passed before my mystery nurse appeared again. Good to see you. Been a while, I said. TikTok hates me. Yeah, I could see that. You're like bouncing in and out like a crazy person. Like every 10 seconds, it was like in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Good to see you. Been a while, I said. How are you feeling, Mr. Johnson? She asked, stopping at my bedside and peering down at me. Why do you always ask me that? I shot at her. You put me back together, made me some freak of nature. Wouldn't you know how I was feeling without asking? Come to think of it, why come by in the first place? Fine, I'll leave you, she said, simply turning on her heels and heading for the door. As much as I hated it, if I went one more day without human interaction, I would have had it. Wait, please come back. I heard the door open and I closed my eyes. I almost wept. I didn't hear the door shut after that, and it stopped mid-sob. After a second, the door shut and she walked back to the bedside. I feel horrible, I told her once she came back into view. I don't even care what you people want anymore, but can you please tell me that this Lysol-smelling hell is going to end soon? I didn't care anymore. I'd just been strapped to a table for 3 years. I would have poured my heart out to the devil himself if he'd shown up in my room for a little chat. She looked at me for a few seconds, and I could tell she was deciding on something. It will end soon, Mr. Johnson. How soon? I asked quietly, my throat tightening at the very idea of putting my real feet on the floor and touching my knees. Within the week. Oh, sorry. I misread that. Sorry. Within a week, Dr. Cross is currently in Anchorage, Alaska, tying up a few loose ends. When he arrives, he'll check your status and decide whether or not to test you out. Test me out? I can't say anything else, Mr. Johnson, she said. You're doing wonderful on paper, so I know he'll remove the bonds. Just be patient, please. Lady, I muttered, I've been tied to a bed for years. I am all out of patience. She didn't answer, leaving me without another word, but the small amount of knowledge she'd imparted was enough. And that's when I decided I wasn't about to die in some hell of a hospital room at the whim of some crazy mad scientist. I was going to find whoever had tied me down in despair, sorrow, and agony for the past 3 years, and then find out who he was working for, and fight my way to the frickin' top, and make whoever was behind this pay dearly for thinking that they could make me their little science project. The mind games were over. It was time for revenge. Dun, dun, dun. It's 8:09. I think I can get through chapter 4. It's only 3 pages. I think I can do it. The infamous Dr. Cross arrived late the next day. He didn't come to see me, but I knew he indeed showed up because the lab techs were all fluttering around acting nervous. And a few mentioned that he'd, shown up. It was super fun watching them buzz around while I stood in the middle of them with my arms crossed, completely invisible to all eyes. Well, I would have had my arms crossed if I could actually touch my body. I've been doing this for a few days now and had already deduced that being farther away from my body lengthened the ghostly episodes. Not sure why exactly, but I wasn't complaining because it gave me a chance to look around the place that had been holding me captive for years. The longest ghost walk that I'd done was almost an hour, which was when I discovered that the lab was underground and wasn't common knowledge to the general public of Flagstaff, which I'd also discovered was why I was still
what which I'd also discovered was where I still was, if the chatter from the meager lab rats meant anything to go by. If that doesn't scream mad scientist, I don't know what does. I'd found out a few things while moving around the lab, but the main thing was discovering that my mystery nurse's name was Ritu. No one had name tags, probably an evil lab thing, or mentioned last names to one another, so that was all I gleaned from phasing around. And also, phasing wasn't my favorite analogy of walking through the walls, merely because the word had been used before, I'm certain. But if you think that that's what's going to stop me from using it, then you, sir/ma'am, are gravely mistaken. I discovered that in life, sometimes it's easier to steal someone else's wording rather than make up your own. Occam's razor and all that. I phased through a desk, and the person sitting at it drummed his fingers in an annoying pattern that made my way. Then I made my way back to the hall that led to my room. I'd had enough for one day. That really wasn't much to the joint. I strutted around my door feeling awesome, only to stop in my tracks at the sight of Ritu at my bedside, shaking Frankenstein Jericho's shoulders and glancing back to the door every now and then. "Please wake up, Jericho," she whispered fiercely. "What? Not Mr. Johnson?" I closed my eyes, and in a split second I was able to feel the pressure of the air on my pale mortal frame once more, and felt Ritu shaking my shoulders. "What's up?" I asked groggily. "Why wouldn't you wake up?" she asked. "Your vitals are fine." "All this bondage wears on a guy." "Dr. Cross is here," Ritu said, looking over her shoulder again. "I know," I said simply. She blinked at me for a few seconds before saying, "That's impossible." "Tell the lab staff running around like lost orphans and straightening microscopes and paperclip holders," I said confidently. Frowning, Ritu said, "What's a paperclip?" "That's the most futuristic question I have ever been asked," I said dryly. "How did you know he was here?" she asked, looking yet again at the door. Ritu, like everyone else around me, had a Russian accent. Oops, I've been doing her wrong. Sorry. "How did you know he was here?" she asked, looking around at the door. Ritu, like everyone else around me, had a Russian accent, which incidentally didn't instill trust right off the bat, let me tell you. Call it racist, stereotypical, or just categorizing, but Russians just sound inherently evil to me. Too many movies, I'm thinking. "Because I'm a ninja. Duh." "Listen," she said, ignoring my ninja japery. "Dr. Cross pushing the test forward quicker than I expected." "Does that mean that I'm going to get out of this bed?" "Yes," Ritu said. "Jericho, please know that I was against this procedure from the start. I wanted Dr. Cross to let you die." This was new and unexpected unearthing of past events. "Why? I mean, I'm alive right now. Isn't that better than being a burnt corpse?" "No," she said, locking eyes with me. "I feel that in a few days you will wish you would not have been brought back to life." "Why are you telling me this anyway?" "Because I feel guilty," she confessed. "Because I know what Cross is planning on doing with you. I cannot explain it all, but I promise I'll get you out of here, I swear." And then she left. No, sorry, I missed something, I swear. She finished with her hand gripping my wrist. "I have to go. Do not mention this to Dr. Cross." And then she left. I didn't like thinking to myself much anymore. Ever since I discovered I now possessed the uncanny ability to somehow leave my body because I was afraid I'd turn into a sort of Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing. But my thoughts were all I really had then. This Dr. Cross didn't exactly sound like the nicest guy in town. Any plans of his that included testing me or any other zombie slave scenario weren't going to go well for him, though. That much I could say for sure. I remembered Chloe speaking of Cross before, about how he used to be her dad's colleague, and also how he was the one behind recreating Beck, Chloe's synthetic crazy twin sibling. I'm glad that I had already decided this before the door opened and the man himself walked in and was looking at my remaker, who thought he was about to have a nice little chat with his project. Boy, was he wrong. All right, chapter 5 is the first chapter that's pretty long. So since we got a late start today, I do have to stop. But we read 4 chapters, you know. That's a pretty good start to the book, you know. I'm sorry I didn't realize Ritu was Russian. I would have put on my Russian accent sooner. That's one of my favorites to do. I love doing a Russian accent. And especially when you're losing your voice, it gets a little gravelly, you know. You can turn it on a little and she sounds a little like a sultry Russian. She's like, "Hello, Jericho. How are you today? I think I'm going to set you free. Do not worry about it." We need a Phoebe Smelling Cat song with that voice. A Phoebe Smelling Cat sound with a Oh, with my raspy voice, or with, I was thinking you meant with the Russian voice. I was gonna be like, smelly cat, what are they feeding you? Smelly cat, it's not your fault. That's pretty funny. Was that a rainbow bright cup? It was. This is a slime rainbow bright cup that Renee made for me at Becca's behest. Isn't that cool? This was custom made. Renee, who commented right above you, is the one who made it. Yeah. Yes? I love it too. I bet if you asked her really nicely, she would make a special order of one for you. I know that this one was custom made for me, but I bet if you were real nice, she would let you order one. A bunch of us have multiple Renee cups and they're amazing. It's true. I have two. What are the rest of the lyrics? Smelly cat, what are they feeding you? Smelly cat, it's not your fault. I don't remember anymore. That's all I got. Is there slime in stock? I don't believe so. I believe my slime is all out of stock, but it will be going back on 4/28, so in like 10 days. No, you are smelly cat. No, you aren't their favorite pet. It's really hard to sing in a Russian accent. I wonder, I know Tressa's not here, so she might be disappointed, but I wonder if I could sing the Good Morning song in a Russian accent. Good morning. We've danced the whole night through. Good morning to you. I said good morning. It's great to stay out late. Good morning, my darling, to you. When the band began to play, the stars were shining bright. Now the milkman's on his way. It's too late to signal, so good morning. It's unacceptable. I shouldn't be doing this. This is really bad. Sing everything in a Russian accent. What else is there? I can do. I have 2 more minutes before I have to go get ready for Catherine and Zoe to come. They have to hide out here today while I work because there's something going on at their house. Hold on, let me think of something else. Definitely record that for Tressa. Tressa needs to watch it when it's on you. I know. And the man that got away with me really hard. This is an interesting time to enter the live. Oh, I know, you came at a weird time. Let me see. Hold on. The night is bitter. The stars have lost their glitter. Winds grow colder and suddenly you're older. But all because of the man that got away. No more his eager calls. You can't sing it, you have to speak it, right? That's the problem. I can't sing it because then it goes into my voice. The writing on the wall. The dreams you dreamed have all gone astray. The man that won you is come up and undone you. You know what I need to do? I need to do dramatic readings of the lyrics of songs in a Russian accent because it's really hard to sing in a Russian accent. Like even like, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Jericho. You are now only part corpse. I don't know, something like that. Oh God, that was bad. That was really bad. Anyway, I'm gonna get ready for them to show up, and I love us every day, Shelley. Why only today? How dare you? It is a chaotic morning. I got plenty of sleep, actually. I went to bed at like 11:30. I got plenty of sleep. I don't know. Anyway, I'll see you all later. I'm going to make bass for avalanches on live later today. So I'll see you all later. Bye, guys.